Hello, Devlin here with you, and welcome to another edition of Devlin's Pirate Radio Show. I am back, and we have got another episode lined up for you, and this is going to be a mishmash of everything, because I'm going to be going all over the place talking about stuff. Got some movie etiquette coming up in just a little bit. I'm also going to do an experiment on Facebook. Probably won't work, but who knows. But first I want to talk to you about my first segment, which is all basically about the Devlin Pirate Radio Show Phase 2. Everybody has to put Phase 2 when they move on to bigger and better things. So I decided I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and do the same thing. Now, no real big changes. You're still going to get my weekly show, and you're still going to get lots of great things. I'm actually looking at some ideas for new segments and stuff, and still going to have co-hosts and my random thoughts, because I love that you guys have all commented that some of you love when I have the guests on, some of you love when I just talk personally, some of you like the movie review stuff, but that's not going to change. I love doing the weekly podcast, and that will continue. But we're going to add to it, because I'm a fan of when you increase something, you add to the enjoyment of it. So instead of subtracting. So that is why I decided I am going to let you in on a little couple of secrets that, no secrets longer, because these are things I'm actually literally working on. First of all, if you were on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, I was playing with my cam. I don't know, I may have already dropped a couple of messages on my Facebook, and I have just invested in my first cam, which means that I'm going to now be able to do segments that will be recorded, so you can see my face, or you can see my co-host's face, or that. The Devlin's Pirate Radio Show won't necessarily all be recorded from now on. I still like the audio play of it, but I'm going to have specialty segments where we might come live or that, and have a segment that you can watch online. It might be a special extra thing, or maybe even an actual segment that we taped, and then we'll just show you the recorded version. I'm going to keep Devlin's Pirate Radio Show, I think, for the meantime, just totally audio still, but I might do a little segment with people, especially if I have a co-host in. It would be fun to just turn on the camera and just have a lot of fun with it. So that is one thing. We're also looking into going into live, as in broadcasting live, but this is still, we're looking into it. Facebook Live only works if you have a phone, and for many of you who know, I don't own a phone. And so until we can find a way around that, or they allow cams, which should happen, we will look into that. We also tried through YouTube. We have a lot of problems with YouTube. There's a lot of mistakes and errors. We've actually tested this, but so far the tests haven't worked. But we're going to keep looking, and we're going to look at maybe some streaming. And when that happens, there could be a night where I just come on Facebook and say, hey, I'm going to go live for a little while. Join me in the chat room. And then basically I'll be talking to you, and I can answer questions or just hang out with you guys. I can read what your thoughts are and be broadcasting at the same time. I'm really looking forward to doing this, because a lot of other people that I watch do this, and I want to do this, but we want to do it as best we can. And right now, so far, the services we've seen haven't worked. So we're going to make sure we know what we're doing with that. As I said, we'll be broadcasting specialty segments, and I am now going to broadcast little segments to you, and they're going to just be part of Devlin's Pirate Radio. It just might be me just wanting to talk to you, like record something, be more personal. It's my way. A lot of you, one of the things you tell me you like about my show is that it's like having coffee with me, or just me sitting talking with you for a bit. And because of that, I decided that cam would be the next step, because I want to be able to you to actually see me. Not that I'm an egotist or something like that, but just because, I'm big on the eye contact, I'm big on the thing, and not to mention I get to invite you into my studio, and I kind of like that. I like making it more personal, so I will be doing a lot more of that. So look for your Facebook, because that's where I'll be putting those. I think the big thing I'm doing is I'm actually going to be starting to do segments for a brand new show. Actually, not only a brand new show, but a new page. I'm actually going to start working on these. Actually, I already have. I've got a couple in the thing, so hopefully you're going to be seeing them very soon, like within a week or two. And basically, I'm going to have a page opened called Mondo Nostalgia. This was the fourth show in my Devlin monologues. I've always liked the word Mondo. Back in the late 60s, 70s, they released a whole bunch of movies under the name Mondo, which means world of. I'm not sure if it's Latin, Spanish, what, but Mondo is world of, and nostalgia because, let's face it, I love my nostalgia. You look 1 minute in my studio and stuff, and you'll see I've got toys all over the place, if you've been to my place, whatever, and I just love talking about it. And what I'm going to be doing with this page is this is still going to be part of my other show, but I'm basically going to do 10 to 12 minute segments on shows, movies, TV shows, music that I love, and I'm going to be bringing you in tight little review segments. So I might talk about an old classic movie, and we're going to play around with the editing and have some fun with it and bring it to you. These are also going to try not to break any copyright codes, although none of the stuff we put out now breaks any copyright. We look at the thing. But we're also not going to put a lot of music in this because eventually we would like to hope to advertise with this. We're going to probably take a couple of the shows, because they're only going to be small segments, and then maybe clip them together into a show. And then we might put it out there and then look into possibly being able to advertise on it, or how you get to advertise on it, just because it's our next step. But we wanted, although I love my Devlin's Pirate Radio show, it's very personal. And although, you know, I do talk about movies and music and stuff on that, I also talk about a lot of personal things that people wouldn't really have any investment in unless they absolutely know me. Most of my fans right now, are no surprise, are people who know me. So they don't mind if I have a breakdown or if I have an epiphany on life. But a lot of people who don't know me might not find that kind of the show that they want, because there's a lot of personal stuff. What I am hoping for is that when I do these other segments, when I do the Mondo Nostalgia segments, that if these shows get more popular and they get watched by more people that don't know me as well, that they'll eventually be discovering Devlin's Pirate Radio and have an interest in seeing the man behind this other show. I don't know, maybe it's a little egotistical, but I think it's a logical thing. My review show is going to be a little different than other shows, because if you go on YouTube, everybody who has a webcam basically sets it up and just does, you know, the latest reviews of movies. And I think it's great. You know, there was a time you couldn't do that. You'd have to look at the newspaper or watch, you know, sneak previews or Siskel and Ebert at the movies or Projection Room. That was a Cable 14 show. I'm really dating some of you if you know that one. But anyhow, now you go on YouTube and you type in like a movie, and you have everything from accomplished, you know, critics to just some guy who watches it or some woman who just loves movies and stuff. I've decided I'm going to do everything. I'm going to talk about old TV shows. I'm going to talk about old movies. I'm going to talk about new stuff too. I'm mostly going to concentrate on the nostalgia part, because now as I'm getting older, I really cherish it. But I've had a lot of long conversations about people, and people are like, one, you know an awful lot about the Flintstones. And two, you give an awful lot of thought about the Flintstones and how it's not just a show. You actually have philosophies on how important it is. So what I'm hoping to do is that I bring that across and add something more to my reviews. So if I review a movie like, you know, The Avengers, I'll talk a little bit about my personal take with The Avengers, I'll review the movie and then talk a little bit about what I think the Avengers of its importance in, Hollywood history. I'll do that with Gone with the Wind. I'll do that with Three's Company. I'll do that with lots of different things. Hopefully it's a show that you'll come to enjoy. And as I said, you'll be able to see them in 6-minute segments, as I also am going to be either building a website or opening up a brand new Facebook page for Mondo Nostalgia. I'm really going to be promoting Mondo Nostalgia because that's the one I want to get out there. But for my friends and family, the place I like to goof around in will still be Devlin's Pirate Radio Show. My hope is that one day they'll go hand in hand. And that, the people who may have liked me as a critic might want to get to know me as well. And who knows, maybe the people who listen to me out of, he's a great guy, I like hearing him, will be interested in seeing what my nostalgia takes are on things. Now, this might not seem like big news, but to me it's huge. And this is basically what my phase 2 is. I'm going to interact more. When I first started doing Devlin's Pirate Radio Show, I honestly didn't know where it was going to go. I've always joked, and you've heard me say it 100 times, they always say, if you make it past 6 episodes, you are onto something. I know some people who've tried the web shows and podcasts, and they may have tried it before me, after me. Some are still going, and all the best to you. Some gave up, and I didn't, and I have stayed with my thing. I basically, for a guy who considers himself fairly lazy, and I will. I know some of you think I must be really ambitious, but anybody who knows me, I am absolutely lazy. I can talk myself out of work at any time to go watch a movie or go hang out with friends or go masturbate on watching pornography. Okay, that's a little crude. But anyhow, all I'm doing is I'm easily talk myself into doing anything. But when I do set my mind to things, I really take pride in it and I give my 100%. And with the Devlin Pirate Radio Show podcast, I've been so happy with where it has become. I am now heading towards my 70s in episode numbers, and it blows me away that I have that much content. When I first started, I thought it would be a YouTube project, and on my blog spot, with the help of people like Bill Dunphy, who asked, could we get this to be downloaded? We found ways to get it downloaded from the blog spot, but then we wound up on iTunes. And suddenly we were like, I never thought I'd ever be on iTunes. Now, we're also looking into, Google is starting a podcast thing, and we're already signed up to be part of that when that all comes in. As I said, I'm so proud of what has happened. I love that I've gotten to talk to people. Just recently, I've gone remote. Again, thanks to Corda, I have now got a way that I can go around and talk to people. And I've just started going to some of my friends who have local businesses. I talked to Wes Fletcher and Scott Bell on Ottawa Street. And I hope to talk to some other people. And by all means, if you have something you want to talk about, or you even want to come on my show, I don't know where that accent came from. By all means, contact me and we'll figure something out. Other little plans I have are, I'd like to start doing a group thing. I have always wanted to do maybe 3 people in the studio all hanging out, just goofing around, having a good time. I'd like to do that. I'd like to try to do some other things. Phase 2 for me is reaching out even more. With the cam, I plan to reach out. Mondo Nostalgia, almost got confused with something else I used to do a long time ago, but Mondo Nostalgia is something that's going to be recorded on the cam. All these are going to be done, and we're going to hopefully play with some editing and stuff and see how that goes. Phase 2 for me is all about reaching out, kind of like turning the show 3D. And then when we eventually get to the live where I can interact with you, I'll be able to talk to you while you're asking me questions or just talking to me about stuff. I don't know how far that'll go, but we'll have to see. Advertising is another thing we're going to look at. I'm not looking to make millions on this show. It would be great if one day I could find a way to make a lot of money on this show. I would definitely put effort into this even more. And but I don't do anything for financial gain. I did not do any of my live stage shows to make money. I didn't do any of, I don't go to work and try to get promotion after promotion and promotion. I'm usually happy with what I'm doing, and I'm happy with the little money they give me, because I would rather not deal with the stress, and I never do anything for money. But something like this, if it happens, it happens. I do things for passion. Devlin's Pirate Radio Show came at such a bad time, and it helped see me through. Besides all my loving friends that were there for me and me just trying to better myself, this show has been a real savior for me. I've gotten a chance to, yell out if something angers me. I got a chance to talk sincerely about something that means something to me, and I get to flirt with, co-hosts, and I get to joke and talk shit with people. And then I get to have moments where I really get down with people and really just love getting to know them. That's the thing I love about doing this show too, is I love the ability to do that. And now that I can do remotes too, I don't have to wait for people to come here. I can actually go to them and record an episode. And I haven't done a full episode like that yet, but I know this summer it's going to happen. So anyhow, that's a little bit about phase 2. I know I was all over the place in this, but I guess it's a little bit of excitement, also a little bit of nerves. I had a friend, after I did the Devlin monologues, and I put so much of my soul out in there, I remember a friend came up to me and he said, that show was amazing. I can't believe how much you put yourself out there. I can't even begin to think about putting my emotions on the line. A couple years later, after I had started doing my podcast, I met up with him again, and he said, wow, now you're doing exactly the same thing on a global scale. He said, I have nothing but respect for you, and you have got some big balls on you, because now you're putting yourself out there. For someone who always talks about being brokenhearted and left behind, you put yourself in front of those trucks to get your heart smashed. Well, so far, my podcasting's been a very positive experience, and I hope it continues. I will make sure it does. Because I'll tell you, the moment that I don't enjoy doing this is the moment that I pull the plug, turn off the record, and walk away. That's not going to happen anytime soon. I love this forum, and I'm looking for always new ways to continue. Also, this year has also been my new I don't give a fuck attitude. That is going absolutely well. I do have my moments where I just kind of lose it. And remember, my I don't give a fuck thing doesn't mean I've stopped caring about things. It means I've stopped caring how people perceive me or think about how they're going to act if I do this. I just act from the heart, and I don't even think about it. I just do it. I live to the fullest, and that's what I mean when I say that. It's going well so far, and this year I'm poking my head out. I'm putting my foot out in new experiences and trying to find my next thing. I've been at a crossroads for a couple years now, and it's now time for me to find the next direction I'm going. The last direction led me to so many amazing people and so many amazing experiences, including this podcast. I can only wait to see where the next step takes me. Hopefully you'll be there with me. You've been my good luck charm, and I thank you, because if you sat and listened to this, I know you're one of my big supporters, and I appreciate that. Anyhow, I'm going to take a small break, and then we're going to switch it up and talk about movie etiquette. Because I'm going to be going to the movie a lot this summer, and I don't want to see you screwing up that experience for me or any other of the movie fans. I'll see you on the other side. And we're back. The summer movie season is in full swing. You've probably already seen some of the big movies like Captain America, Civil War, or X-Men Apocalypse. But I have noticed something recently, and I've known it for a long time, but it seems like movie etiquette is going out the window. Recently, an American movie chain, AMC Theaters, has said that to get young people back into the theaters, they are thinking of having special showings where you can actually text and look at your phone. Which means that there would be showings that you could come in and basically, during the movie, talk with your friends, text, have your phone on. You can fucking, go and play Candy Crush in the middle of the movie, whatever you'd like. I'm not a fan of this, but a couple friends have told me, well, the new generation can't be without their phone for too long. And I think to myself, well, why are they going to the movies in the first place if they have no respect for anything that's on the screen or just waiting for the action sequences? But they made a good point. Movie theaters are businesses first and foremost, and sadly, there are more businessmen that own movie theaters rather than movie fans. And sadly, there are more people who don't care about the movies as much as some of the movie fans out there. I have always been a movie fan, but just because I am going to still do a segment on movie etiquette, because I cannot believe the way people act in the theaters. I don't know how this is going to go. I'll try to keep it with a positive flair. First of all, until they start opening things up for, where you can text, please turn your phone off. You can look at it through the whatever you want. But when the movie starts, it is annoying. My eyes go right over to a screen if I see somebody, texting or checking something. It drives me crazy. Until those screenings make it over the border, which hopefully they don't, please just have some respect. The movies are an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe 2.5 at the most. I think you can go without texting or checking your phone for that long a time. Also, there's one of my big pet peeves is when there's a lot of theaters now with IMAX or the specialty ones where you actually buy your seats. And that means you have seats set for you. But that does not mean you still come in late, because there are people that have seats that came in early so they could get their popcorn or their nachos or their drinks or whatever they want. And there are people who actually are there not only to see the feature, but are anxious to see the trailer. Yes. We might not be anxious to see all those ads that they show, the obligatory car ads or phone service ads, but we do want to see the trailers. So, there's nothing worse than you're looking forward to a trailer that you haven't seen yet, and basically you have to sit up and people are with their popcorn and going in front of you. I don't care. You have your assigned seat. Still get there before the movie starts. Think about there are other people in that theater that have sat there for a bit. And if they aren't assigned seating, this is one thing I hate, and I'm going to become a prick with this one because some people are going to be pissed off. I get to a movie fairly early if I don't have assigned seats. Why? Because I don't mind talking with my friends or, watching the pre-show or whatever. It's what I do. And I hate when the lights come down and the trailers are about to start. And then somebody comes in and says, could you move down 3 seats? I have been sitting in this seat for about a half an hour before the show. And I will do it. I won't be a jerk, just so they can sit together, I will do it. But I will give them a look. Are you kidding me? I came here early because I think this is an experience. See, there was a time in the past where going to the movie was the equivalent of going to like a stage show or Broadway. People would even, back in the 50s, they would even dress up and they would go. It was a very inexpensive way to go, but you got like a full experience and you treated it like that. It was a big deal to go to the movies. Now it isn't. You know, people treat movies like absolutely crap because who cares if we missed parts? It'll be out on DVD soon. We can catch it on Netflix soon. Who cares? We're just coming out because we want to do something. Other etiquette that drives me crazy is when you're in the theater. I figure when the lights go down, yes, you can still chatter with your friends for a bit. Again, the ads aren't a big deal, but once the trailers start, I don't need to hear your opinions of this movie. I just want to take it in. Even if it looks stupid, I don't want to hear you. Like, I went to Civil War and these people had to comment on everything. I don't give a shit if you're not going to see this movie. I don't care if you've been looking forward to this. I don't need a play-by-play of the trailer. Let's just shut up and all enjoy it. See, I get riled. You can tell. I'm getting riled just talking about this stuff. I understand if I'm going to see a Pixar movie or a Disney movie or a DreamWorks animation movie, there are going to be kids in there. And I respect that. And some kids can watch movies. Other kids can absolutely not watch movies. But I think it's up to the parents to know your kids. And if you know your kid can't get through a movie, then by all means, pick a matinee or something. Do not pick like a prime time thing where there's all these people and we have to sit and hear the kid asking questions about every fucking thing of the movie. Also, I know you're anxious to see the latest blockbusters, but when you bring newborn babies into a theater, now some of these places, now I don't know if they still do them here, but I know Silver Cities used to have like stars and strollers where parents could bring their kids, and if there is any trouble, then that's fine. But there's nothing I hate more than when I'm seeing a movie and they bring like babies in. I'm not even, like, they're not even going to see this movie, but you're just too anxious to see this movie. Then you get a babysitter. You don't bring a newborn in to see, like, Captain America Civil War, and then when it cries, you get upset because people are trying to listen to the movie, but your kid's drowning out the Dolby sound system. And I love when they just sit there and try to, like, calm the kid down instead of, sometimes you see the great parent that, well, not that great if they brought the baby in the first place, but the great parents that at least try to run out of the theater and let everybody enjoy it. Then I'm at least saying, okay, at least they're trying to make amends. Again, you know your kids better, and I'm not trying to say what you should show them or not, but read about a movie to see if it's age appropriate. I think I told the story before, but I went to see the new Jungle Book. That's got wild animals in it. And basically, they brought these two kids, this woman brought two kids that were under the age of 5. And they were jumping left and right and then finally there was this one sequence before the movie was over where the tiger jumped up at the screen and the one kid just basically said, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And ran up the aisle, and the mother basically had to get her stuff up and go. Read reviews. Come on, you can't go into a movie nowadays without finding out. Even a small independent flick, you can go online, probably see the trailer, read tons of reviews. We're at an age that you go on the computer and you can find all this stuff. So don't be sitting there, well, we didn't know it was going to be scary. It says Disney on it. Well, even in our youth, Disney had so much things. Like, come on, Bambi's mother dying, Finding Nemo, the first 10 minutes is pretty horrifying. Even The Lion King had some questionable stuff. Know your kids. And if they're not going to handle stuff like that, don't take them. Or, find a time where it's not going to be busy, or a theater that is not going to be busy. I honestly want as many people to share the movie experience with me. I'm not thing. So I love looking over and seeing a little boy totally engrossed or a little girl just getting wrapped up in the world she's watching. So I'm not being an evil person here. I'm just saying some kids can watch movies, some kids can't. Snacks are a big part of it, and I support people buying snacks. People always tell me, why don't you sneak in your own snacks? And I won't lie, I have. I have snuck in chocolate bars or something, whether I've been short of money or I just didn't feel like spending their thing. But in most cases, I will try to buy something from the concession stand. The reason why is because I am such a movie fan, I know that this is where they make their most money. The Hollywood studios basically make a good chunk of what the movie does within the first probably 3 to 4 weeks. And they don't start seeing any kind of profit from the actual movie until like 3 or 4 weeks. But by that time, they're not getting sold out crowds. Only in some cases, well, movies are still doing really good at that point. But in most cases, so yes, they have overpriced popcorn, they have overpriced pop, but that's the stuff that's paying for the people that work there, that pays for the projectors being on. So even if it's expensive, I will try to buy something. Now, I'm not saying I'm an advocate on that, but that's my belief. And especially if I go to a small theater like the Westdale or something, I like to promote them, or the Zoetic, I like to promote them and buy something, because I know that's where their money, is coming from. Be good with your, people spill pop, they spill popcorn, and I know that's an inevitable. Try your best not to, because there's nothing worse than going into a sticky theater. It's fun because if it's a R-rated movie, you can make a dirty joke about it, but then after you're just still going quick, 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 quick. So just, don't be so willy-nilly to get into your seat or anything like that. So, try to be reasonably kind. Let people go through, let that etiquette go. It's a really big part of it. I think I've covered most of it, I don't mind people reacting. In fact, some movies you almost need that. Like, when people are laughing through the film or they cheer through the film. I love those moments. I can still think of movies that I saw where it was the actual experience that made the movie. I remember going to Wayne's World opening weekend. Nobody knew what was going to happen, but everybody was just in tune, and you could just see that we were all having a moment. We shared the moment. Similar thing happened when I saw There's Something About Mary. You could tell the energy was all there, and we were just absolutely loving it. I don't advocate talking through films. A couple times I'll catch myself, hey, is that? But I'll speak in my voice, isn't that the actor that was in, something like that, very quiet. I know it's probably seemed louder because I put the microphone closer to my mouth, but you know what I mean. And I don't mind stuff like that. It's when people are still having conversations about, and then she went and said this, and then he said this and that, and I'm like, this has nothing to do with the movie. This has nothing to do with the absolute movie. You're just still talking about stuff that happened to you earlier in the day. And I'm like, that I do not like. I have to admit, though, one of the best experience I ever had in a movie was, there was a lot of talking through it. And normally I would have got upset, but I actually thought it was done well. And it was done in a nice way. It was a grandfather with his grandchild, and we went to see Dances with Wolves. And I remember that the kid would ask questions about the Indian indigenous people, and basically would ask if that's the way it was done. And the grandfather would either say yes, or he would tell a very short little thing about how it was done. Now, normally I would have been like, would you stop talking? But I actually found that I was learning stuff from it, and I thought it was actually quite nice. And since I loved the movie, it didn't hurt the movie in any way. But they weren't being horrible about it. Watch how you react to people. When people are being bad in the theater, there's lots of ways you can do it. I remember Seinfeld had that, when somebody's annoying you in the theater, you do the half turn. Or then you do the full turn and give them that look to scare them away. My friend Dave likes to do the more subtle, would you shut the fuck up? That doesn't work all the time. Sometimes it does. It's great if somebody does that in the theater, and I'm actually going to say this, and people are going to think I'm a total jerk, but if somebody's talking and it's driving you nuts, and then somebody yells at them, support them. If you agree what they're doing, because I know secretly you're probably saying, oh, thank God somebody said something, but you'll still stay strong. The more people that support, like, yeah, shut up, stuff like that, the people will get a better idea of it. Because nobody wants to go to a movie and come out with a fist fight or stuff. Also, beware of your body, too. No, that doesn't mean like body odor, but hey, that helps too. Doesn't hurt to roll some deodorant on or put some perfume or cologne on when you go to a movie, and not too much. But I'm talking about seat rests. Watch how you put your feet or kick the back of people's chairs. Sometimes it's accidental, I know. But when it's repetitive, it is so annoying that you just want to turn around. And I was actually at a theater where people were talking and kicking the back of the seat. And then all of a sudden, it just drove this person to literally get up and chuck their pop on them. Now, in no way am I endorsing this and saying this is good film etiquette. But you know what? It made a lot of people applaud, and it wasn't necessarily the right thing to do, but I still talk about that story, and it certainly had an impact on them because they both left, but I certainly don't advocate that. What it comes down to is I'm a big movie fan. I will actually try to go to smaller theaters to avoid things. I'll go to afternoons, matinees. Even when big blockbusters come out, we try to go to the earlier matinee because most people go to the later shows. But I'm going there like a lot of other people to enjoy the movie. Now, for the most part, I think people are still fairly well behaved. It's only the odd one, but I'm starting to notice that people are more and more openly talking and, unwrapping stuff that they could have been doing during a loud scene, and then they wait to a small scene. And then, all you're hearing is you're trying to catch details in the plot, and they're like, crinkle, 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 because they're open looking at fucking the hardest Werther original that you can find, or something. But everybody's out to have a good time, and if we just follow a few simple rules, we're all going to get along better and have a great time at the movie, because that's what it's, in the end, all about. So when you go to the movies at any time, whether it's the summer or any time, and when texting over the border starts coming over here, and eventually they realize, hey, it's getting the young people out, and suddenly all the shows are going to allow, that's probably when you'll see me saying goodbye to the theater. Because I will realize that we no longer have movie fans anymore. If you can't get through a couple of hours, texting or looking at your thing, then it's no reason for you to even be there. But if they're going to allow it for everyone, then I personally am going to be one of the first to, I'll just watch it on DVD or stream it or something. But personally, I still want to go to the movies. I want to be an 80-year-old man walking into the movie theater, getting my little popcorn and my drink, and just waiting to see what's coming up on that screen. Hopefully, that will still happen. Anyway, I'm going to take a short break, and we'll be back, and I'm going to check my Facebook. Hello, and we're back at the Devlin Pirate Radio Show, and hope you're enjoying this episode so far. It's probably going to go right downhill now. I'm going to try something that I've always wanted to do, but See, the thing is when you get ideas, I'm an ideas man, and I decide the ideas, and at the time they sound like great ideas, and sometimes I do them, and they are great ideas. I feel, yes, I got to do that again. This, I have a feeling, is going to fall on the other scale of that into the what the hell did I just do? But you know what? That's the thing about life. You say, I don't give a fuck, and you just take a chance. And now, what I've always wanted to do is Facebook, I have a love-hate relationship with. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore Facebook. For every time I bitch about it, the more times I love it. It gives me a chance to stay close to friends, whether it's friends that I stay regularly close to, or whether it's, friends that I don't get to see that often. I usually get to see nice pictures of them, or their vacation, or their food, or their kids. And it's just nice. It's nice to still stay a part of their lives and stuff. It's also a nice way for me to think in that. But sometimes Facebook, especially in the last year or two, has just gone off the rails. I find myself hiding posts more often than most, just because I think some of them are just absolutely horrendous. Whether they're just like bashing, certain things, or just being negative about some certain things, But it is also fun to look at, because sometimes you'll see all this horrible stuff and then this sweet little meme will come in. And I apologize if I'm promoting meme wrong, or meme, or whatever. I do not know how to post them. I will just call them inspirational posts. So anyhow, my experiment today is I decided this is a random day. I've not looked at what's on Facebook today. And I'm actually going to go through my Facebook and just kind of tell you the kinds of things that I see. Now, I'm not going to say names. I'm going to not say what day I did this experiment so people can go back. That's totally me. But I just kind of want to do it. So you think it's irritating when you go with a friend out to dinner and they just check their phones all the time? Hopefully you're not as irritated by listening to a podcast about a guy who's going to check his Facebook now. I will try to make it as entertaining as possible. Let's see if it's a good day or a bad day on Facebook, and let's check it out. All right, I'm sitting here at my desk and getting all nice and comfy, turning on the Facebook. As I said, I have not checked these out in any way, so we could be hitting anything here. I will not give names. I'm not a shamer. I'm not a thing. Unless it's something I think is really funny, or, I don't think the person will mind. But let's take a look at a day in Facebook, and I promise I will not do this that much, because I really don't think this is going to be a really great experiment. Well, I've turned on my Facebook. The first thing I see, beautiful pictures of lovely newborn. I know sometimes I go on about, some people might have the view that I don't actually like kids, but I actually do really love them. And I love seeing new pictures, and especially parents that are first-time parents. I think it's good, and I have no problem with that. I will give that a little like there, because it does make me smile. Sometimes if I'm in a negative mood, I'll just be like, yeah. But overall, I think it's sweet when people share that kind of stuff. So let's start scrolling down and see what we got here. Oh, I got an ad. I get a lot of ads. I think all of you do too. Okay, a lady that I've recently befriended really got the opportunity to meet one of her idols, and I have to love that just because of the fact that I've done it with John Schneider, I've done it with the Red Ranger, Austin St. John. So this makes me happy. So we're on a happy thing. We saw little babies and like footage from, somebody meeting their idol. Again, I won't say exactly who it is because, I don't know this lady that well. I just put, well, I guess then I can say it because she probably doesn't listen to this. But her name's Jody Ritson, and if you're a Monkees fan, you should actually try to befriend her because she runs a Monkees group, and she went to a convention where she got to meet Mike Nesmith. And as I said, I don't know the lady. I just posted the Monkees' new single a couple of weeks ago, and she asked to be my friend. And I'm a Monkees fan, so she is a real dedicated Monkees fan. Definitely Jody Ritson, Ritzn, if you're a Monkees fan, because she posts lots of things and she's always fighting to get their stuff played on radio stations and stuff. Okay, scrolling down. Okay, nice picture. Somebody's going to the ballet with their father. That's quite nice. I like that. As much as I love seeing little babies and children being posted, I always get a little, aww. just what I see, like people are going to spend time with their parents and stuff, and I love that. I love that people, it doesn't matter how old you get, if you get a chance to spend time with your parents and you're sharing it, I think that's an amazing thing. Okay, we got a little bit of a little post here. I won't read it or anything, but it's our first little negative thing. It's just basically bashing hipsters a little bit and, their personal preference, but it's not horrible. It's not something that would, aggravate me. Okay, we have a. I get a lot of these. I have a lot of book reading friends, and I don't think they listen to my podcast, but they always put like, oh my God, I love to read. This is my dream library. This is my dream study. And I'm glad you're proud to read, but I have never seen so many. Some of these are just so horrible. Like, you're horrible if you don't read. You're an awful person. Like, we are so superior to you because we read. Like, some of these are just absolutely horrible. I'm like, do people read these before they post them? I'm glad you read. Go and read. Stop putting this stuff up on Facebook. But again, it's not the end of the world. So far, so good. Okay, somebody putting scores up to a baseball game. I have no problem with that. I'm not a sports fan, but hey, I like that people are passionate about that. And I've seen wrestling, I've seen soccer, I've seen basketball. I have no problem. I may not be a sports fan, and hey, double plus if there's a cute guy in the report where they put the picture, because, hey, I can always check out a cute guy. Okay, we got a cute little thing about babies eating ice cream. I like babies, but I'm not going to watch this crap. I'll watch pictures or videos of people's kids, but unless it looks like it's going to be like something that really funny, I'm probably not going to watch anything with a baby. I've got more chances of watching a cat video, I think. That's just me, though. Okay. Okay, we got somebody putting down Civil War, the Captain America movie that they said. And, they praised Batman versus Superman in it. I love both movies, but I like to see it because all I got when Batman versus Superman came out is like crap, crap, crap. So it's nice to see that somebody's saying, I think it's a better motion picture. I like that. Okay, somebody posted something called 10 Things That Require Zero Talent. Being on time, work ethic, effort, body language, energy, attitude, passion, being coachable, doing extra, being prepared. I agree with some of this. But, I agree with it. I have a great work ethic. And so it's nice to post that. I'm not sure why somebody would post that. Maybe they're having problems at work or something. Another commercial for home hardware. I don't know why I'm promoting it since I don't get paid for it. Hopefully you're still with me. Okay, dogs. Somebody posting pictures of their pets. Love that. Love that. Even if I don't know the pets, it makes me feel nice. We got some man bashing going on here. Yep, a meme about how the wife is superior to the man. Yeah, I'll just hide that one. I have nothing against a bad joke, but that was just blatantly man bashing. Oh, another man bash. Oh, two in a row. More man bashing. That's great. Oh, and that's okay because I have a picture of Snoopy in Woodstock. I subscribed to Snoopy, and the reason I did was because I thought it would be a nice break. Because every once in a while I'll see all this, political stuff or horrible stuff, and then Snoopy will show up and make me smile every time. Okay. Oh, I got little post here, a little too preachy for me, not really religious, not really anything, talking about evil. Okay, so I have a lot of musician things, and they post a lot of things. Don't really mean much to me, but if it's stuff about spirituality and music going hand in hand, I like it. But there's sometimes, music jokes. Somebody posted, believe it or not, like white leopards. Snow leopards. They were just, born at the Akron Zoo. in Mendoza, and they are very cute, and that makes me smile. So far we got a pretty good day going on. Oh, grammar police, yeah. You know what? If you're a grammar police, that's okay. I can't believe it. And I'm only, the reason I'm not, and I reread things over and over again, and it still pisses me off when I spell something wrong. But some people just spend all their time just correcting it. I once wrote something special when I was young, a lot younger. I wrote something special uh, to them, and I wanted them to get the heartfelt sentiment. And all they did was they fucking circled all the errors and showed me them. And I said, "You fucking prick! I'm never gonna do that again." I will not say names because I do know they are on my Facebook and stuff. So yeah, I really read things now. Oh, I get a lot of comedy references, and I have no problem for that. I have a lot of comedian friends, a lot of stand-up as well as improv, so I'm on a couple comedy sites. I went through a phase where I thought, well, I guess I'm comedy. Maybe I should live up to it, but sometimes I get way too much. I think I've actually turned off some of the notices for comedy stuff. Oh, some weather forecast stuff. Never hurts to go down my Facebook and find out that it's going to rain. And then you look and realize that this was posted like 48 hours ago and somebody just liked it and pushed it higher. A lot of camping stuff. It's a weekend, and with the summer coming up, I have no problem with that. I'm not going camping anytime soon, but I guess when I go to Mike's cottage, family's cottage, it's kind of like that. So I like reading this stuff. I love when people post their passion and promote stuff. Like now I've come down scrolling, somebody's promoting a gig they have coming up. And I actually promote stuff that I believe in, or if it's like somebody I really, really love and think is talented, I will promote them. I'm always promoting stuff on my site and will always share stuff, whether it's a play or a store or, a gig that they have. Okay, I'm on this site called Pop Culture in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and I'm a really big fan of this site. And the reason why is, again, just like the Snoopy stuff, because they post stuff from that era. And today they've got something called Saturday Morning Cartoons from 1971, and it makes me smile. Again, I like to like these things because sometimes on a day where everything just seems horrible, it's just nice to see like a pop culture reference, whether it's Dukes of Hazzard or I Dream of Jeannie or Laverne and Shirley, anything like that. So we got that. Okay, there will always be a reason why you meet people. Either you need them to change your life or you're the one that will change theirs. This is beautiful. So beautiful, in fact, I'm going to share this. Hopefully nobody goes back and looks to the day that I shared this and finds out, oh, they were talking about me. Because I'm not doing anything horrible here. I'm just doing what we all do. Check our Facebooks now and again. Oh, another pop culture thing. Scooby-Doo just popped up on my thing. I like that. Okay, I'm subscribed to a couple of gay men. They're kind of like, I don't know what they do for a living. This is a gay singer, and I like his music. And I don't know why I do this to myself, because most of the time they're just posting selfies about how hot they are or how great their life is. Sometimes I find them very inspiring. Other times it kind of makes me feel like, yeah, okay, I get it. You've got, six-pack, almost eight-pack abs. Don't get me wrong, I like to show them off sometimes too. I put them like a celebrity or something, but I don't know, when you're taking selfies every day to remind people how good you are, when I'm trying to put a nice status to remind people how nice a guy I am, fuck, if I had abs like that, I'd probably be doing selfies rather saying than, I really appreciate you in my life. Oh, I got some problem things. If you can read this, you're high intelligence. I don't know if any of these are true. I get about maybe 80% of them, but I don't think I'm really highly intelligent. So it makes me feel good that I did this, and then I wonder if that's true or not. Oh, somebody's doing a quiz. Which TV witch are you? I will do a couple of these once in a while. I'm going to pass on which TV witch because I don't know that many TV witches. Well, maybe I do. I watch Bewitched and I Dream, not I Dream of Jeannie, Vampire Diaries and stuff, but I'm going to pass on that one. Oh, an Albert Einstein quote. That's always good. Oh, people promoting sports again. You can tell it's the weekend. All right. I have a lot of. I watch a lot of Collider movie talk, so I have a lot of the guys from there: Christian Harloff, John Campia, John McCouga. I got a lot of them, Mark Ellis, and so they always are posting stuff about movies. I have a couple of movie fans too. You know, that I love when they post stuff. Some are cult fans, some are other things, but I always look forward to it. A nice little quote about childbirth in the how people died in childbirth a lot in the young. I don't know why somebody posted that, but that's okay. They're allowed to. Oh, um, basically a charity thing. I have no problem with that. If it's a good thing, I will actually even support it or share it. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, here's one of my gay sites kicking in. Maybe I shouldn't read this aloud. It's a guy with a jock strap over his face, and it just says 36 fetishes every gay man should know about. Maybe I'll go back and look that. It does talk about underwear, leather, and clowns. Um, I'm not going to admit to any of those. Maybe one day if I have a guest or a co-host and we're talking, but I will have to read that because I'm always fascinated by fetishes. For you regular people, you know I talked about fetishes one time, and if you didn't listen to that episode, go back and check it out. I don't know which one it is. Which Marvel character are you? The thing about these quizzes, I know they're just for fun, but I like to think that I know which one I am. Um, Actually, in the Marvel universe, I couldn't tell you. But I'm not going to do that trivia because I'm in the middle. And we're almost done here. Um, somebody, you know, putting a little inspirational post about loving their nieces and nephews. I certainly am all for that. One thing about my Facebook, if it tells me to share something, I will not share it unless it's something absolutely. I hate those ones with a passion because I choose what I put up. And I hate the ones like, I don't think anybody reads my site, so if you don't, if you do, prove it by posting this on your thing. I'm not going to fucking prove it by that. I'd probably read your site and I probably sent you a message or liked or commented on something. Oh, the memory. I'm really loving the memory pages. I like to go back and see when I posted, and sometimes I'll repost if it was like an inspirational thing that's still thing, or something funny that I think was absolutely a hoot and still is. I got a lot of redneck people. I can think of at least 3 or 4 redneck guys, and they're always posting really rugged things like how we use tools or we fix our Jeep and or we drive our trucks, and I love reading like rednecky type stuff like that. It's usually about cars and tools with them. Stephen Amell. I'm a big fan of Stephen Amell. Again, if you're a fan of the Arrow, definitely check his site out. He was actually commended for using Facebook in a positive way. He comes up with great ways to promote charities or just talks to his fans. He probably uses it a lot better than how I'm using it right now. But it's a great way to wrap things up because I have come to the end of this post. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you probably recognized a lot of the things that you probably see on your site as far as, what goes. I'm happy. It was a particularly nice day. There wasn't too much nasty stuff, so that's a good day. Because sometimes I'll go on my Facebook, and if I'm not in the mood, it just seems like every other thing is a negative thing. This politician isn't doing this. This politician is doing that. I have no problem with people posting that kind of stuff. I just don't need to see it all the time, But, yeah, it's your site. Do what you want with it. But don't you spoil things, because that's one thing I will not tolerate. Anyhow, I'm going to continue looking at Facebook, and hopefully you will do the same. Thank you for listening and putting up with my shenanigans. Don't worry, this is not going to be a regular thing. I just thought it would be an interesting experiment, and now I know. Lots of great episodes coming up this summer, so stick around, and I will talk to you again very soon.